Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Talk Raptors. I'm your host Shisham, my channel where you get reviews, analysis, predictions, and hot takes on all things Raptors as well as some NBA. It's been a while. It's off season. Not much happens other than rumors that swirl around about the Raptors. But as we know by being true Raptor fans, Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster are the most close-lipped people in the front office of any organization in the NBA. So most of those rumors are likely untrue. And that is exactly what's been going on. However, there has been some progress with the Raptors offseason. So without further ado, let's start with number one, which is Gradey Dick. The Raptors drafted Gradey Dick with the 13th overall pick this Thursday. And it seems like everybody just keeps talking about this kid's amazing shooting and bad defense. What everybody is ignoring, and that's exactly what I'm going to talk about here, is the fact that this kid has a high basketball IQ. He also has very good ability to get to the rim and finish there. If you watch his highlights, he has good decision making. Sometimes what he's done is just hacking up shots. Instead of that, he lets the defender come to him, goes into the mid-range, and shoots that ball. With his beautiful stroke, he always, pretty much nails them a lot of times. And he's really good in the transition. He gets to the bucket. He can dunk the ball. He's a good cutter. And because of that, he's even better at finishing at the rim as well. If you watch his highlight, there's a lot of places where he takes the contact from one or two defenders, but still manages to finish at the rim, which is something that the Raptors do miss a lot of times. Defensively, yes, he is really weak in that sense that there's a lot of blow-bys by him. His foot movement isn't the best, but he does have the tendency to be at the right spot at the right time. It's just that he's a little bit slow. I get it, he's 6'8", guarding, probably people that are 6'5", 6'6" maximum. But you see that happen a lot. I think with the Raptors organization, he will improve on the defensive end. But I love his offensive game because his transition decision making as well as finishing is really good. His 3-point shot is why he was drafted by the Raptors pretty much. And also one thing that the people are forgetting to mention is the fact that he's a killer, man. This kid is, when you watch him on the court, he thinks he is the best player on that court, and he plays that way. He does not let anybody get on top of him. He's shooting this ball with confidence. There was absolutely no doubt of him in the NCAA tournaments. Now, his game transitioning into the NBA, yes, he will probably start off as a 3-point shooter, but I think as he gets more play time, he will show that he's capable of a lot more. I think the only weakness that the Raptors would really have to address right away would be his defensive ability. Even though he might not become as a quicker defender, but he needs to be able to make the right decisions. And he's really gonna do well with cutting away from the ball when he's on the offensive end, because people like Scotty Barnes, Fred VanVleet are going to find him. So I like the pick. It's a very good pick for the Raptors. It fits in very well, and it kind of helps us even if you go into the rebuild, because now we're finally finding a 3-point shooter. Now, number two that nobody is freaking talking about is Marquise Nowell being signed to a 2-way deal by the Raptors. Yes, everybody, some people have talked about his 19 assist game in the NCAA tournament, but man, this kid is damn good. If I had to make a comparison, he's just a lot better than Nate Robinson. He's 5'8". Yes, that's why probably people don't think he's going to succeed in the NBA, and that's why he probably went undrafted, but the Raptors have picked him up. And if you watch his highlights, this kid is quick. He has Steph Curry type of range, and I'm not saying he's Steph Curry, but he has that type of range. He can shoot from half court. He can even play, from the wings 30 feet, 32 feet out. He can still shoot it, and he's not afraid to do it. And the main primary thing that I'm going to love about him, and I think he's going to put aside Delano Banton, Malachi Flynn, all the point guards, is the fact that he is an amazing passer. He just has an act of finding the open man, whether he's whether it's trying to get to the bucket and then finding the open man, or whether it's just finding the open man at the top of the key. This kid is damn good at assisting the ball, and he enjoys doing it. And another fact that he's similar in regards to Dick is the fact that he is a killer. He's a tiny guy, but he's definitely not somebody who can just be railroaded, whether it's on the offensive end or the defensive end. He's like, he's frisky on the defensive end. He sticks in there. He's fine with getting physical with bigger players. His hands are active. So I like that signing. It's a very low-key signing, but I think he will be a very good backup point guard. And honestly, I think his passing ability can even turn him into a starting point guard later on in his career. But I love the signing. His highlights, you guys should go watch them. This kid is damn good. Now, number 3, which is the signing of our coach, Darko Rajokovic. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, correct me. But I'm so glad Nick Nurse is gone. I was never... for the past 2-3 years, I've seen a decline in Nick. I saw a decline in Nick Nurse's coaching ability. He seemed to be getting frustrated. He was more concentrated on other things rather than just focusing on the coaching, and he was more of isolation ball rather than the ball movement. And I think with Darko coming in, he offers a lot for the Raptors, especially given the young roster we have. Darko has a history of starting to coach from the time that he was 16, and he's always been really involved in player development. And as you see, Memphis Grizzlies, all of their young guys are doing really well, and he was the main architect in getting them to that point. So I think Darko is a really good signing. His offense is not ISO oriented. It's more about ball movement, cutting. Everybody's moving around. And it's not focused on stars. It's focused on the team. So having that be the coaching strategy is going to help the youngsters be able to develop as well, because they're going to get to touch the ball instead of, Pascal taking 30 shots and Freddie taking 30 shots. Instead of that, everybody's going to get a little bit. Everybody's going to have fun, and the chemistry is going to be a little bit more different. So I like that fact. And Darko seems like a guy who can keep his cool. It seems like he's firm, but at the same time, he's a player's coach. So he's going to be okay with people struggling and those type of things. Like, not like Nick Nurse, where Precious or Gary struggle for 1 or 2 games and they're benched for at least the next 6 games. I don't think Darko's going to do that. Darko it seems like he has a really clear image in his mind that my main goal is to start developing these guys. So they become the next, Denver Nuggets possibly in the next 2-3 years, and be competitive each and every year. But the main focus will be on team and development rather than stars and isolation ball. So I'm really looking forward to his offense and the type of work he does with these youngsters in order to get them to a point where they are more consistent rather than, struggling 1 or 2 games and then being benched and being afraid of being benched and do all those things. It seemed like when Nick Nurse was there for the past at least a year and a half, 2 years, there was just this negative, umbrella over the Raptors that players were afraid to be themselves because, Nurse was likely going to call them out in the media instead of calling them out in the locker room, and, then benching them for a while. The inconsistency with minutes, inconsistency with the rotations, all of those things really contribute to a lack of concentration and fear in younger players as well as older players. I think Darko is also going to improve the fact that he's going to reduce the minutes for the starters so they're not worn out all the time, and figure out rotations that work and try them out for a longer period of time, because he has that leeway. He's not a coach who's trying to prove himself again like Nick Nurse was, that, hey, I won a championship once, I can do it again, and this is how I'm going to do it. So I'm really looking forward to the fact that Darko has come in. It's a new voice, it's a new outlook on the Raptors, and it should be exciting, especially with the way that he's, if you watch what he's done in the past, the way that he plays the offense, like he runs the offense, is a lot more fun to watch, kind of like Golden State type situation. So a good signing by the Raptors. I was looking forward to them maybe bringing on JJ Redick, but I think the issue with JJ Redick was the fact that he just retired, and I don't think he has too much information in regards to how to develop, players just yet. Maybe he needs to be an assistant coach before a head coach. But Darko he's been coaching since he was 16, man. So we can't go wrong with a lot of experience, especially with a guy like that. Now, number 4, which is that where do the Raptors go from here? So, like I said, I'm excited about the Raptors, the way they, the things that they've done recently. But where do the Raptors go from here? Because Fred VanVleet is a free agent. It seems like Pascal is in trade rumors every other day. OG was in trade rumors. So, and Gary Trent Jr. is back, which I am glad that happened because I think that kid deserved another chance. He was really railroaded by Nick Nurse last year. I think he needs to be given the freedom that he has. Young player needs to be given, especially a guy who's not afraid to shoot and who's not afraid to go out there and try to defend, do the best he can to defend. So I'm glad Gary Trent Jr. is back. That's another $18 million contract that's back on our cap instead of being removed from there by him taking a player option and testing free agency market or possibly re-signing. But he's back, and I'm glad that he is. So where do the Raptors go? First of all, the Raptors are looking to re-sign Fred VanVleet. Do I think that is a good move? I believe so. That is a good move. Why? Because I think the Raptors have the talent. I honestly feel that we do have the talent, especially with the addition of Dick and Nowell. We have gotten a little bit better. Even though they're rookies, I think they're established. They will come in and contribute well enough. We have enough good players on the bench that need to be tested rather than just in and out of the lineup. So I think Fred coming back will give us more consistency, be able to test, see where we're at. And that would be good for us moving forward. Then it will give us a better idea as to whether we should, blow it up or not. And same thing, if Fred is coming back, then Pascal should stay. I don't think he should be traded. You got to test it out with the whole squad that's currently in place. And then, if it fails, then you go into another direction. Right now, the Raptors shouldn't be worried about going into another direction because Denver Nuggets have proved that, yes, they have Jokic, but that, good teams can be very, very competitive to the point of finals. The Heat, pretty much proved that. So should the Raptors re-sign Fred VanVleet and continue to do what they're doing? Yes. Now, if there is a really good deal for Pascal Siakam that comes across, I would be willing to move off of Pascal. First of all, he's going to be re-signing, and it might be a max contract or a super max contract. So that's a lot of money. And we can only keep either OG Anunoby or Pascal if we re-sign Fred VanVleet. So we got to move off of one of them. In regards to Pascal or OG, I would rather keep OG because OG is younger and he's still developing, and he has shown glimpses that he can be really, really good inside, outside. His three-point shooting is better than Pascal's. His defense is better than Pascal. So would I rather keep somebody who I can sign for about 20-25 million? Yes, instead of Pascal, who would be probably 35-40 million at least, especially if he makes an all-NBA team. So if a good deal comes across, yes, you should trade Pascal, but should it happen right now? No, I don't think so, because I think Masai is very smart in that aspect. I think he's going to wait until teams get really, really desperate. Some teams are probably going to be fighting for a championship spot or whatever's going to be happening. So he's going to probably wait until the deadline to make a move. I don't think he's going to make that move right now unless a brilliant deal comes across. For example, Scoot Henderson, Anfernee Simmons, and a couple, 1 or 2 second round picks from Portland. I think that's a good deal. But again, the fact is, why not test the waters first? Now, if Fred VanVleet decides to say, I do not want to return to the Raptors, then I think you got to move on from both Pascal and Fred VanVleet so you can start pretty much building your team around OG, Gary Trent Jr., and Scotty Barnes. I don't think there would be any point in keeping Pascal at that time, because our power forward positions are really, really crowded right now, and that's why I'm saying if a good deal comes across from Pascal, go ahead and make that trade. And if there's no good deal, you can wait until the trade done and move him. But I think Pascal's got to move. But if Freddie moves right now, then you got to get rid of Pascal as well, because there's no point in keeping Pascal there with another two, because Gradey Dig is 6'8". He can play power forward as well. He's not built like it. He needs to put on some muscle, but that is a fact. So Pascal needs to move. So if Freddie says, I want to get out of here, do a sign and trade with another team, get some assets back for him, and do a trade for Pascal, get rid of that contract, get some expiring deal if you need to. So at least next year you can go into the free agency with some sort of extreme amount of money that you can use. So if Freddie stays and a good deal comes for, keep Pascal, but if a good deal comes for Pascal, move on. If Freddie does not stay, move on from both Freddie and Pascal, but sign and trade Freddie if you can. Again, I don't think Freddie would be such a dick that he would leave the Raptors organization, who gave him everything, by just walking away. I don't think he's that type of person, even though he's always said that money is a priority for him, which is understandable and it's respectable. But I think he's that genuine of a guy that he would say, okay, I'll do a sign and trade, and these are the teams that I want to go to. I know Pascal is saying, hey, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay with Raptors. If somebody trades for me, I won't re-sign for them. The fact of the matter is, bro, you cannot hold an organization hostage by saying those things. If the Raptors get that deal, if the Raptors need to move on from him, do it. I understand his sentiments, but this is the way the business works. So that's where I see the Raptors moving forward. I honestly feel like Freddie will come back, but if he does not, again, I've given you the option. Let's see what happens. Free agency starts on July the 1st, so that should be exciting. I don't think there's any great free agents in this market anyways, but let's see what Freddie does. Anyways, that's all I have for you for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. There was a lot of it in there, because there's no point in doing one video for each freaking rumor that comes out there. That's just a matter of not making genuine content. It's just a matter of getting clicks. I'm not all about that. So hope you guys liked it. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys when there's some other major news. And goodbye.